Thank you. And I recognize Mr. Singh for 5 minutes.
I'd like to wholeheartedly thank the leadership of this committee, Chairman Conyers and Chairman Adler, and the members of the committee for the opportunity to appear before you today. The topic we discussed today has vital implications for the safety of all Americans and our freedom as Americans. To be direct, my humble submission today is that the use of law enforcement classifications based on race, national origin, religion, or ethnicity has severely undermined both our liberty and our safety. As the experience of the Sikh American community makes clear, profiling is invariably inaccurate, inevitably misused, and ultimately detrimental to the important work of our men and women in uniform. In short, we profile, we lose. By way of background, I am the co-founder and director of programs at the Sikh Coalition. The Sikh Coalition was founded on 9/11 in the wake of the ugly torrent of hate crimes and misguided discrimination against our community. I say Sikh Americans have endured misguided discrimination because our community has had no association whatsoever with the people and the organization that attacked our country on 9/11. Yet, since 9/11, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of Sikhs have endured enhanced screening at airports across America. These screenings occur after a Sikh has already successfully passed through a metal detector. They are conducted in full public view, usually in a segregated glass box. It involves a public pat-down of a Sikh's turban and at times even its removal. One Sikh who was affected by this enhanced screening is Narinder Singh, a member of the Sikh Coalition's Board of Directors. Narinder was born and raised in Cincinnati, Ohio. He's a Warren School of Business MBA who co-founded a technology company in the Silicon Valley which employs hundreds of Americans. His wife's a doctoral student at Harvard. He's also a frequent air traveler. He has flown this year over 30 times alone for business. By his estimate, he has been pulled aside for enhanced screening more than 27 times. Amazingly, the TSA expends time and effort on these screenings of Sikhs, even though there are no Sikhs who are considered a threat to the security of the United States. Rather than better focus our efforts, the Sikh Coalition has found that at some airports, Sikhs are pulled aside for extra screening 100% of the time. Yet, experience tells us that there is no reliable profile of a terrorist who would do our country harm. Consider the picture that I've put up there for your consideration and in my testimony. With the exception of the Sikh gentleman who's pictured, all four of the other people have either completed or have been accused of engaging in terrorism against the United States in the past 2 months. The Sikh pictured here is an enlisted officer in the United States Army. Sadly, none of this matters to the TSA officers who have subjected this Sikh Army officer and patriot to multiple enhanced screenings across the country. Perhaps this is why NYPD Police Commissioner Ray Kelly, a former Department of Homeland Security Secretary Michael Chertoff, former Director of the CIA General Michael Hayden, and the Chief of Security for Ben Gurion Airport in Tel Aviv, Israel, have all declared profiling to be ineffective and even dangerous to the security of our country. Yet despite these declarations, profiling occurs rampantly, as the Sikh experience demonstrates. Unfortunately, like many law enforcement officers, TSA officers have extremely wide discretion to pull aside whoever they choose with little to no oversight and accountability. Should it surprise us then that from February 2003 to September 2003, Nathaniel Heatwall, a white college student, was able to smuggle box cutters, matches, bleach, and razor blades onto planes in the United States? This is what happens when we lose our focus on behaviors and instead focus on external appearances. We profile, we lose. We are tired of hearing from law enforcement that profiling is ineffective while their officers often engage in profiling every day. This doublespeak needs to end. What is necessary to combat profiling is an effective law that allows for two simple yet powerful means of addressing profiling directly. One, a system of data collection that provides the public with insight into who is being stopped and whether the stop yields an arrest. And two, an individual right of action in a court of law to bring claims of profiling. Without these protections, we end up with what is effectively collective punishment for minority communities in the United States. What do I mean by collective punishment? Consider the picture to my left. This is a picture of my 18-month-old son, Azad. His name means freedom. He is a third generation of American in our family. This past April, my family and I were coming back to the United States from a family vacation. At Fort Lauderdale Airport, not only was I subjected to extra screening, but so was my son. I was sadly forced to take my son Azad into the infamous glass box so that he could be patted down. He cried while I held him. He did not know who that stranger was who patted him down. His bag was also thoroughly searched. His Elmo book number 1 was searched. His Elmo book number 2 was searched. His mini mail truck that he loves was searched. The time spent waiting for me to grab him as he ran through the glass box was wasted time. The time going through his baby books was wasted time. I'm not sure what I'm going to tell him when he's old enough and asks why his father and his grandfather, and soon him, Americans, all three, are constantly stopped by the TSA 100% of the time at some airports. It's not fair. It's not safe. It's not American. There is something wrong with the system that will allow a sick baby and his bag to be searched for 15 minutes, but allows Nathaniel Heatwell to pass through security 6 separate times with box cutters and dangerous liquids. This subcommittee and this Congress has the power to stop this Groundhog's Day dynamic of profiling by enacting landmark legislation to address this. In the process, we will make America not only safer, but better. I thank you for your time and consideration.